It's Vijaya with Immigration Insights with the NPZ Law Group explaining complex immigration law processes to employers, employees, and families throughout the US and around the world. David Nachman is back. He's NPZ Law Group founder and managing attorney, and he's taking one for the team for Samantha Oberstein, who's on leave right now. So, David, if someone has an H-1B and they've just experienced these layoffs at their company, and there are massive layoffs going around all over the US. How does that impact this person, and is there anything they should do?
Yeah, it's a really great question, Vijaya. And first of all, thank you for welcoming me back. Namaste, Adab, Satsuriya Kol and Kemcho to you and to all our listeners. And thanks everyone for hanging in there. Mm-hmm. And as Vijaya said, I'm just helping out for Samantha, who's on temporary leave. Mm-hmm. And my colleague will be back, I think, this week. So we're looking forward to having her back in the office. But couple of things I just want to, before I get into answering your question, I just want to remind all our listeners about the announcement that was recently made by the government, and maybe not so recently, maybe it was about 6 months back, about something called Operation Firewall. And Operation Firewall is something that all employers who did H-1Bs need to know about, because basically what it is it was a heads up to employers that they're going to be going out, they being the FDNS, Fraud Detection National Security section of the USCIS, and they're going to be basically auditing or doing site visits to ensure that individuals are where they're supposed to be, performing H-1B functions that they've represented to the government at the wage levels that the employers said they were going to be at. And this is something which is coming fast and furious. Mm-hmm. And if in doubt, we have it on very good information from sources within the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, that they are actively training officers to go out and do these investigations. So as you know, Vijaya, I always like to talk about enforcement, because it's something that our listeners need to know about, because the better you're prepared for a potential investigation, the better things are going to go. And that also sort of leads me in the direction of saying that employers, you've got to do your I-9s, and you have to make sure that your I-9 house is in order. There are some really great resources out there, including us. Please feel free to call any of the immigration lawyers here at NPZ Law Group. We are more than happy to help you to get your protocols for employment eligibility verification into place. Yeah. So let's talk about layoffs.
Yes, let's.
Sadly as it might be. Well, the most important thing I think everyone needs to know is that there is a 60-day grace period. But the question is, okay, you have 60 days to find a new job. But is there something you can do before, let's say you know about your layoff or you hear it coming? Because a lot of times I'll get a call from someone who says, oh, you know what? There's a rumor that we're going to get laid off. So what can I do? And I would say I got at least 6 calls last week just on that subject alone. So what I often tell people to do is think about getting a concurrent H-1B in place. And it doesn't have to be a full-time H-1B. It can be a part-time H-1B. So if you can get a part-time H-1B in place, and oftentimes it's for a different company, and it would be for maybe self-employment. Yeah. Maybe an individual has an LLC on the side and they want to do some consulting services through that LLC. Maybe it's a 1 or 2 hour a week, gig that they want to do. Get that concurrent H-1B in place, because then if you get laid off, you can fall back on that concurrent H-1B, because 60 days is a really difficult, especially if the economy is
exactly in the economy that we have. I mean, 60 days is nothing, and it's going to be hard to find another
job. How do you find something else? So one of the things we also recommend is that you think about maybe changing status. You can maybe think about getting back into school. Think about an F1, change your status maybe to B2 as a visitor, and then what you can always do is switch back to H-1B if and when you have a new opportunity. So we are more than the NPZ Law Group immigration lawyers here at VisaServe. We are happy to help you to strategize in the event that you find out that something like a layoff is on the horizon for you and your company.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, tough times, but of course the NPZ is here to help you through any way they can. Well, thank you for that, David. Again, great insights there, and of course, helping people navigate their way through this maze. So, folks, if you're in a bind on any aspect of US or Canadian immigration, you've been procrastinating getting things in order, the NPZ Law Group is at hand to help, and they're just a phone call away. Call and mention Mirchi for that special discount. Their number is 201-670-0006, or simply visit visaserve.com. And of course, it's time for that big thank you to all of the attorneys, David Nachman, Lutka Zimovchek, Gaganjot Mundra, Snehal Batra, and Samantha Oberstein in absentia for your most valued insights. So much appreciated, and keeping you updated and informed on the law. I'm Vijaya. Join us every other Wednesday, 4 to 5 p.m. for more on immigration from the NPZ Law Group. For now, stay tuned to Mirchi because it's hot.